Okay, finally, I'm a Helu. Been meaning to make this video for a while, from the 403 to the HAZ. Mr. Nelson here. We're finishing off function transformations. After this, we'll talk about the inverse of a function. I don't know why, but we will. It's a pretty easy little thing to learn. But the last little bit of function transformations is when we get problems such as this. We know that f of x is some function, and I'll say it's, I don't know, x squared plus 3x. You want x? Cool, okay, you got it. Anything you want, you got it. Okay, and then we'll say that g of x is my function transformation of f of x. And I'll say that it is 2f of negative 3x minus 1. Okay, and then the question asks you, it says if g of x is equal to that, what is g of 1? For example, they can put any number in there. And so they're basically saying, what is the value of g when my input, when my x is 1? So the first thing we're going to want to do when we get a problem like that is to kind of treat it like reverse BEDMAS. You know what? Just to make it even more clear, I'm going to extend this. I'm going to say that this is x minus 1. And then we'll say it was minus 2. I don't know what it was. Okay. So if this is your function, what is g of 1? Well, so the first thing we want to do in this case is treat it kind of like a reverse BEDMAS situation, okay? Because before we can even transform or stretch this function vertically and subtract 2, we need to know what f is so that we can apply the multiplication and subtraction from some number. This is basically one number, and we have to figure out what it is. So what we do is we're going to go back to our function f of x, and I'm going to look inside here, and I'm going to start with the inner bracket. And I'm going to put in my value for x, which is 1. So 1 minus 1, minus 2. And you know what? I'm going to make it 2, so it actually gives us something to play with here, because otherwise we're going to get 0. So my x is 2, 2 minus 1, and then I'm going to solve the inside. I'm going to start inside, and I'm going to move my way out. So I get 2f negative 3 times 1 minus 2, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So now I've distilled it down to 2 times the function value with an input of negative 3, function f, with an input of negative 3 minus 2. So now I have to go here and figure out what the value of f of x is with an input of negative 3. So I'll do that right here. I get f of negative 3 is equal to negative 3 squared plus 3 times negative 3. And I get 9 plus negative 9, or 0. This thing really wants to go to 0. So in this case, so now I can replace f of negative 3 with its value, which is 0. So 2 times 0 minus 2 means that g of 2 is negative 2. 0 minus 2. So that's the value of g of 2. To find a table of values, g of x, this would correspond to 2x, pumps out negative 2. Okay, so the biggest trick with these kind of problems is to work our way out to figure out what the value of our function is. And we can do some funky things with that. So I could do something like g of x is equal to f of x, okay? I could even do something like this. We're actually going to f of x minus 2, okay? So g of x is equal to this function with an input of the same function with an input of x minus 2. So I'm going to just work my way out. And let's use the same, we can use the same input here of 2. So actually we'll use an input of, let's use 1. Okay, So my input now, my x is 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve what f of 1 minus 2 is. So I have f of, now I'm going to input my x, 1 minus 2, and then this becomes the function value of the function value at -1. And the function value at -1 is equal to -1 squared plus 3 times -1, or 1 minus 3, or -2. So now I can replace this whole thing with -2. And I'm going to do that here. I get function value of -2. Now I can go back into my function and solve the function value at -2, which I determined was f of x minus 2. It's like Inception. A function within a function? Within a function? Within a function? So f of -2 is -2 squared plus 3 times -2. And -2 squared is 4, plus -6 is -2. So the function value of -2 is -2 for this function. And again, and that's what g of x is going to equal to. So g of x is going to equal all of this, which we've turned out to be -2. So my table of values, g of x, I'm going to have -2, or actually I'm going to have 1, because that was my input. So g of 1 is equal to -2. Okay, one more further. Well, maybe we'll do a couple more. We're having too much fun here. I'm going to keep my same function because who cares? It's a beautiful little function, I think. So let's say g of x is now equal to f of 2x divided by f of 3x. And I say, what is g of 3? With an input of 3, when x is 3. So, I can solve what f of 3x is, because that is f of 3 times what my x is 3. So the function value at 9, which is, oh man, a big friggin' number, 9 squared plus 3 times 9, which is 81 plus 27, which is 108. 91, 101. I'm going to go with 108. So that's what I'm going to put in my denominator. Then I'm going to solve this one, but I have to start with the inner bracket. So let's do f of 2 times 3 is f of 6. Let's solve what f of 6 is. I replaced x with 3. 2 times 3 is 6. I have to figure out the function value at 6. 6 squared, x, 6 squared, plus 3 times 6 is 36, plus 18, which is 46, which is 54. So now, and then, holy crap. Oh, we're screwed, guys. We're super screwed. We're super screwed. Okay, well, we're going to go for it. Do it for Johnny. So now I have to figure out the function value with an input of 54, because that's what f of 2x resulted to be. And that is intense. So 54 squared plus 3 times 54. I am not the Rain Man, so I am going to find my handy dandy calculator somewhere. All right, let's see here. Oh, wise computer. And I get 3,078. And I'm not done, folks. Because g of 3 is equal to 3,078 on the top divided by 108 on the bottom. So g of 3 is 28.5. Okay? That's how we treat these things. And we just, when we're calculating a specific output, we just have to follow BEDMAS. Start inside, move our way outside. I think you guys got this. You guys got this. I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay. Next video.